Do you believe in life after realizing you have a crush?
Do you believe in life after love?
Well, The Dangers in My Heart episode 4 definitely does, and that's what this episode is really all about. Well, that and telegraphing to the audience that Yamada really likes Ichikawa. Hi there everyone, Lars here from Camille's Harem, not just a podcast for novice writers by novice writers, but also a YouTube channel by novice writers for novice writers, because writing is an adventure, it's more fun with friends. And in this review of The Dangers in My Heart, I want to have a look at, again, something that I believe this story just does phenomenally well, and that is showing how having a crush really colors how a person sees and interacts with their world. In the previous episode, we got to see Ichikawa realize for himself and admit to himself, oh, I like Yamada. And at the very beginning of this episode, he's like, whoa, okay. So, if I do like her, that must mean I've got something wrong with my brain, which, I knew it all along. I am a messed up individual. Oh, wait, but it's one of those kinds of messed up. Oh, I don't know if I can exactly go with this. It is really funny to see just how he jumps through all of these mental hoops to try to reconcile the crazy persona that he's developed for himself with the realities on the floor as they were, with him developing this crush for Yamada, and then not just simply developing this crush, but now interacting with her in many different kinds of ways. And again, that's what this episode just does so well. It shows how life goes on, and yet it now has a distinct flavor, a distinct coloring, a distinct spice to it that comes with a character realizing, I have romantic feelings for someone else. So let's have a look at some of these interactions, some of these simple events that are going on in the lives of these young teenagers. We have, of course, the messing around during break, which we just get to see Yamada continuing to be herself, getting along with her girlfriends, which is something that I praised in the previous episode, and then also the other girls trying to find a way to reconcile with Yamada, apologize for smashing her in the face with a basketball, all of which was just awesome, wholesome, girly fluff. Again, something that we really need to see more of in fiction, of girls just being girls and not this weird backstabby nonsense or everyone is attracted to each other kind of thing, because that's not the way that the real world works. People have nuanced relationships, and you get that in this episode. But as Ichikawa is watching all of this play out, Yamada's still just being herself, and she wants to enjoy some sweet snacks. And Ichikawa finds himself again just getting involved, and this time he's leaping into action, quite literally, to help her out, even though he knows this is dumb, this is stupid, and it goes against the rules. But why is he doing it? Well, he has feelings for her, and he's trying to justify what the heck he's doing, and it doesn't work out really well, and it leads to just an escalation of events. He's like, well, I am going to help you get that snack, because you can't just simply pour your milk into this thing. It's going to make a mess, which leads to them having an absolutely hilarious mess in the chemistry room. And the teacher, if the teacher at any point thought, wait, were they doing it behind my counter? He's not a very good chemistry teacher, because there's no way that a little boy like that is creating that much foam. And then I also enjoy how Ichikawa does pick up on the messaging. He picks up on the atmosphere, on the intent of the other girl to apologize to Yamada, and tries to get out of the way, and also at the same time tries to divorce himself of the situation while also paying very close attention to it. It puts him into a fantastically awkward situation where he wants to be around his crush and yet not be around his crush, which is again just a very realistic, very relatable young teenage thing to do. And honestly, this is something that doesn't even have to do with their developing feelings. This is just an event in the day, in the life of these characters. Just as the same as them going home, going on a bike ride, or talking with someone as you go on home. That's nothing romantic. Sharing snacks isn't implicitly romantic. None of that stuff is, and yet it does become romantic because of the lens through which Ichikawa is seeing the world around him. And yes, we do get a very clear signal during the bike ride that Yamada's trying to have a conversation with him. She wants to hear his opinion. She wants to have a meaningful moment with him. I'm sharing snacks with you. And I love how Ichikawa is trying to pick up on the proper signaling at the moment. Both of them are misunderstanding the situation, especially when he at the end gives her the cap to the top of his little coffee cola. That is just great. It is a perfect misunderstanding between characters who have developing feelings for each other in a moment that is not implicitly romantic. It's just good. Again, in the day of the life of a realistic teen, you can totally see something like this happening, but because of the crush, it's been colored to become something romantic. And then, of course, Ichikawa trying to help Yamada get out of trouble with the teacher, and then exposing way more of himself by suddenly rambling, showing he's actually pretty intelligent, even when he rambles. Maybe this guy should ramble a little bit more often. He would actually be an absolute genius and cure cancer or something. So, Ichikawa, please do ramble a little bit more. Let the feelings for Yamada flow through you. And then my personal favorite in this entire episode is the whole meeting in McDonald's, which is, for any person who's gone through a pretty intense crush, this is like one of those weird fantasies that you dream about it playing out, and then if it should ever happen, you're absolutely paralyzed with fear. Being at McDonald's, everyone does that. Ichikawa meets Yamada there at McDonald's, and all fantasies go flying out the window. It's now real life time. Oh my gosh, I'm with my sister. How embarrassing. I'm going to leave, and I'm going to buy some food, and then he buys a meal that Yamada would want to have. And again, we are totally telegraphed. We're getting it telegraphed to us that she likes him because she comes on downstairs, makes a lie about looking for the bathroom, so that way she has an excuse to spend time with him, talk with him, and the conversation just takes so many hilarious, awkward turns through so much miscommunication. Again, a realistic moment colored in a funny way because of a crush. Life goes on. If you are someone who's hanging out in your room and just fantasizing and hyper-focusing on the person that you like 24/7, that is unhealthy, that is not normal, that is weird, that does not a good story make in any kind of way. In fact, that's really, really creepy. Instead, life just goes on, even after you've discovered that you really like someone. And so, again, that's just what I enjoy with this episode so much. It just felt like we're going through the great lives of these hilarious young teens, and seeing now that their feelings are coming more out into the open, how does that change simple scenarios into these funny little rom-com moments? And this is something that it doesn't take super science, it doesn't take rocket science to figure this out, and yet it's surprising how many writers cannot make this work. Especially in the States, for Western writers, we see way too much of this sharing feelings in hallways. We see too much emphasis on these hyper-romantic moments, or people trying to take the mundane and continuously use these mundane moments and somehow make them witty and romantic, which it sounds like exactly what I've described right here, what I really like in this episode, but let me lay out the difference right here. So if we were to take your typical American teenage rom-com and compare it to what's happening here with The Dangers of My Heart at the McDonald's scene, well, the characters in the American version would meet and would be all like, well, McDonald's is lame, but it's cheap. I don't have a job. You know, the whole socioeconomic stuff. Ugh, my life sucks. But, you know, I'm gonna share a French fry with you. Actually, I'd like to have your dollar cheeseburger minus the pickles. I've already removed the pickles. Oh my, we're so in sync. You know, we should talk more at school. Talk more about the socioeconomic difficulties that we're going through. Oh my, that's so hot. Tomorrow we'll meet in a hallway and share our feelings. Goodbye. Just so melodramatic. And people will be like, I shipped them so much. The moment that he offered her his French fry, so amazing. No, it's not. All the melodramaticism, what crap, just sucks. You had the proper scenario, and even there could be a good joke in there, but you ruined it. What does The Dangers of My Heart do really, really well? It plays into just, again, this fantasy meets reality. Ichikawa is being his angsty little self with his sister, eating a meal at McDonald's, and then he sees his crush and immediately gets all flustered and tries to find a way out of said scenario. She comes after him, and then you just have miscommunications. Rather than having some serious conversation with some meaningful interaction with the french fry and the hamburger, instead, use actual jokes. Have some fun. Poke some fun at these teens in love. Point out how ridiculous it is that you're at McDonald's and you're having these silly little moments. That is what makes this fun to watch. That's what makes this story fun. The characters are being themselves. They're not trying to be melodramatic. There's no attempt at doing anything grandiose. Yes, Yamada does realize, oh, you are copying me, and she teases him for it. That is what you need. That's why this works and why the American version does not. So what can we as writers really learn from this experience? Well, life still goes on after discovering your feelings, but how we care about someone and who we let into our lives does color our different activities, our interactions, and our outlooks on normal life. And that should definitely be the case for hyper-focused teens. And that's what this episode captures perfectly. Romance isn't just about the big moments or sharing your feelings in hallways. It's about living life and seeing how that special someone changes it. And I would highly recommend getting funny with it, because that's what a crush is. Crushes are awkward, and it's one of those things that when you look back at it, whether you're then in that relationship with that person or you've moved on, they should be funny. If you can't laugh at yourself for having a crush and the dumb things you did during that crush, then you need a little bit of help, because that's what crushes are. They're awkward, they're silly, they're funny. And if you as a writer are going to lean into that element of writing teen romance, I think you can have a lot of fun, and you can still have those meaningful moments of buying ice cream when the girl that you like also wants to have some ice cream, and then wanting to share that ice cream with her, but obviously the reality is that would never work out. And even playing into that, there's so much fun you can have if you let the characters have fun. And again, that's just something that I see way too often in teen romance, especially from Western writers, is that they make it too serious. Seriously, love and crushes should be fun. And if you can't have fun writing it, if you won't let your characters have fun writing those moments, then you're doing it wrong. And that is what The Dangers in My Heart does oh so right. Well, that does it for my thoughts and my review and my analysis for this particular episode. Let me know what you've thought about The Dangers in My Heart this past week. And if you're looking for more writing advice, please check out our other videos here on our YouTube channel. You can also head on over to our podcast, Camille's Harem. And, of course, if you'd like to support us, please like, subscribe, share, comment, do that whole bit. But if you would really, really like to support us, please check out the books that we've published and consider buying a copy. It seriously would do a whole lot to help us out. But in any case, thank you for joining us on this hilarious adventure that we call writing, and until the next video, y'all, tschüss.